What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. We're here today for F1 2019 career mode. No messing around. We're getting straight into this here in Q1. You can see we set a provisional pole in Q1. Second lap, not too great. We ended up going a little bit wide off the circuit there, but we've got quite a bit of pace around here in contrary, Jesus Christ, contrary to Singapore, where obviously we struggled quite a bit. And so we're looking pretty good for top six, battling in there ahead of Pierre Gasly, of course, which is what you expect. And it looks like currently on pace, a little bit faster than Pierre Vettel. Jesus Christ, what's going on? Sebastian Vettel, same with our teammate. Fresh components, new ICE, turbo, everything, brand new stuff for this race, and saved it up for my last fresh set of the season. You can see we're a little bit wide through the last corner, pretty awful lap. He was on the medium tyres, so he was about 6 tenths off, which ultimately put us into P13. So we had to set another time on the super softs. You got to see nearly 1.5 seconds up. We lose a bit in the last corner, but we're actually going to get through to Q3 for a very long time. I think I'm probably correct in saying it's the first time we've gone to Q3 since the summer break. Like Belgium, we didn't. Italy, we didn't. Singapore, I don't think we obviously didn't. But my memory's a bit like a goldfish. But nonetheless, we're in Q3 for the first time in a very long time, and I want to do what we can to try and set a good lap time. We already got an awful sector one. We're going to get a toe off of our rival Pierre Gasly, and I'm actually going to screw his lap up now. I badgered on last episode all about the simulation and stuff like that. So currently we're purple and green. We overtook Pierre Gasly on his hot lap, so we have done a faster lap than Gasly. Because we've overtook him, we're ahead of him on track. We come across the line, and it's going to put us in a fantastic P6. Now that's not the problem, right? So I obviously overtook Pierre Gasly, so my lap's faster than him, but on some planet he's gone a tenth faster, even though we started about 2 tenths behind him and we got slipstream. So let's have a look at this: 33.3, 31.8, 26.7, right? He's done a 26.7. What on earth? How is that even possible? Like, it's so we should have been P5 effectively. It's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, it's that. But look at that on the right-hand side. Look at what we have. We have an Alfa Romeo on pole position. It's not Arav, it's fucking Lucas Weber. Like, Jesus Christ, what the hell was going on with this game? I swear to God. I don't know where that came from. And looking at the grid, you can see, a 131.9. What on earth is that? Like, Jesus Christ. A few cars obviously out of position. Hamilton down in 10th, which I believe probably would have been on pole if he hadn't had that penalty. But Bottas obviously out in 13th. Butler again, another penalty for him, so he's struggling with his components. And George Russell, Hulkenberg down the bottom due to penalties. But yeah, Lucas Weber's on pole, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, because we've got the Red Bulls in second and third, ourselves in P5. So if possible, we could be looking at Red Bull, Toro Rosso podium. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got to try and get into that position. Leclerc steamrolled down him, so we've got Perez with his straight line speed, maybe fancying to go. But we've got Verstappen and Gasly going side by side. Vettel almost going side by side. Indeed, he does into the corner. We're going to have to take evasive action here just to try and avoid all the carnage and not actually get tangled up with any of them. We're actually going to go side by side with Charles Leclerc. He's actually going to try and hold it around our outside, and Sebastian Vettel is going to try and hold. He's going to dive very, very late. Leclerc hits us. We almost go into the back of Verstappen, so we're going to have to hold the position. We get an illegal overtake on Sebastian, which are obviously not ideal, so we'll have to go all the way around the outside. He's gone really, really short on his apex. His angle is way off there. But we're going to hold the position on Vettel. We're going to give him a little bit of a squeeze coming into this corner, make sure he has no lock. He actually taps us on the rear end as we go by. So going back to what I said about the Red Bull Toro Rosso podium, it's looking really good. But we get the fastest lap. We're in P4 behind Verstappen and Gasly. But Gasly's ahead of Verstappen, which isn't great. So Gasly needs to move out of the way of Verstappen, so Verstappen can chase after Weber, and then maybe Gasly can eventually close up to the back. But Gasly he's not letting Verstappen through. Verstappen's passed, but Gasly didn't make that very easy for him, so that could be very costly for Red Bull and ourselves, as a family. And Gasly's still trying to fight Max here for this position. He's going to losing so much time to the point we're closing up to him. But in this position, we can't overtake them, because we're losing the senior team, a lot of a podium opportunity. That's a trophy, that's silverware. We can't really do that much. But Gasly, again, he's just attacking Max, and he's potentially costing Verstappen the race win here, and a triple podium. Like, what's going on? I genuinely don't understand. Gasly, again, now being passed by Max, and I'm just at a loss of words, to be honest. Coming on to lap 9, we started losing a lot of our tyre wear. We did need to make a pit stop, so we're going to come into the pit stop. Hamilton was right up our gearbox, so Hamilton's made a charge from, I believe it was P10, all the way up to P5, so Hamilton's doing a solid job at this point in the race. But yeah, Gasly he's going to be in a lot of hot water at this point of everything. You can see on our tyre temps, our front left was absolutely boiling hot, and it was actually struggling quite a bit with the tyre temps, but pitting this early has dropped us back down to the back end of the grid, so that's not ideal for ourselves or anything else like that. But hopefully the undercut will probably get a little bit closer to the Red Bulls and even Lucas, because we were struggling quite a bit with tyre wear. We didn't have the best strategy in that. Our setup was probably a little bit too harsh on the tyres, to say the least. But we set another fastest lap here on the medium tyres. There was a Red Bull coming out of the pit stops just ahead of us. We do manage to stay ahead of Hamilton, which is obviously ideal. But you can see the Red Bull a little bit closer, but not too much. And Weber's really far up the road, so we've actually got to buckle down. We've got Lando, good old Lando Norris. We've had good battles with him all season, and he's going to make us go off track to pass him because he just didn't fancy giving us any space. But you can see coming through the pit lane now, you've got the other Red Bull coming out on to the circuit now. I believe it's Verstappen, so Verstappen again behind Pierre Gasly. Now Gasly, I tell you what, mate, you're in a world of shit if you don't let Max through. Max end up losing the back end, so we have to go through the escape road. But we catch up to Grosjean, Verstappen and Gasly past the Haas, and Weber's still, he hasn't increased the gap, but he hasn't been reduced at the same time. We go down the inside of Grosjean, and we just got to hope that Max can get past Gasly and close down Weber, because as it stands, it looks like Lucas is going to win this race, just for the pure fact that Gasly is holding up Verstappen and Gasly is fighting Verstappen. We're just holding back, letting these guys do what they want. We're not quite caught by Hamilton at this point because we're getting DRS off these two, but if these guys keep fighting, we're going to lose time as well, and Hamilton is going to catch us, all three of us. And at that point, I won't be surprised if Gasly gets the boot, because this is ridiculous. You can see Hamilton's almost on my gearbox at this point. Verstappen is past Gasly, but Gasly is just trying an overtake again, which makes no sense because Weber's getting away. He's at this point, he's costing Max the win, which is idiocy, complete and utter idiocy. And you can see we actually getting such a good run on Verstappen and Pierre, but we're just going to hold station because we don't really want to do this. Hamilton eventually tries to go around our outside because we're so slow, because these guys are fighting, but Gasly just isn't letting Max go and just chase after him. Max is having to look in his mirrors, which obviously he doesn't want. But coming on to lap 21, you know what, I'm done, I've had enough, I'm getting a move on. I'm going to see if I can close down Lucas, because, you know, I've been sitting here biding my time, saving my tyres, so we're just going to go past Gasly. Gasly obviously gets the clear to let us through, nice and easy. Max probably won't be as courteous to that, but nonetheless, obviously if I can't close the gap, then I'll give the positions back to the two Red Bull cars, because it's only fair. But I'm going to do what I can to try and hunt down Lucas and try and get this position, and could get a win. You never know. We've got 5 laps to go, give or take. We're in the DRS of Max. Gasly is coming under pressure from Hamilton, so Gasly might lose that position. Here you go, Max moves to the inside. We go straight around the outside. Let's see if we can hunt down Lucas. Coming on to start lap 23, we've set a fastest lap of the race, so we have a lot of pace. Here we've got an undeniable amount of pace. The gap's come down from 7 to 5.4, and it's... after that fastest lap, we just lost all the pace in the world. We just had no pace after that. We completely ruined our tyres on that lap, which was probably not a great idea. And the gap wasn't coming down in the first sector, so I let Max go. I'm not going to let Gasly go, because obviously he's lost the position to both the Mercedes and the Ferrari. So Gasly's destroyed his tyres, destroyed his race, destroyed Red Bull's race. You know, we're going to get a podium by the looks of it, as long as Hamilton doesn't just send one out of nowhere. But Lucas Weber, right, our F2 teammate, who was the nicest guy you could ever hope to meet, is going to get a win in F1 before ourselves, which is absolutely mental. Lucas Weber is a race winner here in F1 2019 career mode. This is absolutely insane that he's managed to pull that off. Somehow we managed to come home P3, which is a solid drive. Overall, on a normal weekend, I'd be chuffed with that, but can't help but feel that it should have been a Red Bull 1, 2, 3, and Gasly is just messed all that up. So it's not ideal in the slightest. So I'm pretty sure Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko is going to be having words after this race with Pierre Gasly, because that is just, it's stupid. Like, everyone knows like Gasly hasn't got the pace compared to Max, and I love Gasly to pieces. Like, I rate him very highly, but it's just stupid. It really, really was. But happy days for Lucas. If you guys stuck around at this point, and you finally obviously got to see who was the shock winner of this Russian Grand Prix. But it's super frustrating. I think that could have been us. Yeah, maybe if we tried a little bit earlier when we had fresher tyres, probably could have broken away from the Red Bulls because they'd been fighting so much. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. End of the day, Lucas definitely deserves it. We get 2 extra points. Or 1 extra point, sorry, for the fastest lap. This isn't F2. Gasly, down in P7 after that race, which is just absolutely crazy. Just if I don't get a contract offer from Red Bull after this race, then I'm gonna be a bit disappointed about that. But nonetheless, we're getting some R&D points in the bag, over 3,000 now, and almost got full reputation for all the teams, which is obviously what we like to see. But it's definitely difficult, just nodding whatever Emma says. I've got JD over there taking his clipboard and leaving the office. Arif obviously over there on the other side of the table, stuff like that. But he leaves the room as we now go to look to start our contract negotiations. So we've got a really good contract as far as I'm concerned. Pit stop efficiency has been better at some points, but we've had quite a few errors in the last couple of races, so it's not going to be that great. Going to change the second driver. We don't care about the role at this point. We should be going to Red Bull come the end of the season, so that shouldn't be too difficult. We're going to try and get a bonus points and everything like that. We don't really care about any of the R&D points, so it's really not that great for us. We'll try and max out the race and qualifying position, that way we can take it a little bit easier. And as you can see, the value just skyrocketed, so we're going to have to move that down just a little bit here and try and lower them as best as possible. So let's try and give that another go, and there you go, bang, sorted. So got 30% quicker pit stops, which is what we want. But that's been it for me guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please slap a like on it. If you're new on there, please subscribe for one-on-one content every other day, and I'll see you for the Japanese Grand Prix, our home race, well, ish. Take care, guys. Bye bye.